going to show a movie in a minute, one that Francis did for this year's festival just gone, which was actually, it caused quite a lot of controversy with regards to we were when we were narrowing it all down to the final 15.
Yeah,
we're going through them now. The process was basically me, Marcus, Marion, his wife, and Heather, my wife, and we're all there. We're killing two birds with one stone, because we're also sampling homebrew, because the new lockdown hobby was homebrew.
Yeah,
I really got into it. I haven't really stopped either. So that's rosehip wine. And we were all sat there, and the thing is, we do get quite a lot of entries, so we have to be quite strict.
Of course,
narrowing it down to the final 15, and we get it down. And the rule is that if after 30 odd seconds somebody goes, "What do you think?" We pause, we chat. If a majority say carry on, we carry on. If the majority say, well, yeah, okay, let's move on to the next one, we'll move on to the next one. So there's a tip for you. You've got like 30 seconds to engage with us, yeah? And we got to yours, and we got to the end. Nobody interrupted it. We got to the end. And we stopped, and we said, right, and everybody's like, yeah, definitely, it's a really, really good film. And everything. I said, well, and we started talking about the end and what we thought the character did, what the protagonist did. And essentially, there was several different views that I'll talk about afterwards. But Marcus had a different view to me. Marion had a different view. Heather had a different view. We're all just, and it was this long discussion, and we didn't watch another film for quite a while. And then we said this at the awards ceremony when we showed the film, and we said, oh, we'll get your opinions. And people afterwards were coming up to us saying, well, I think this happened, and I think this happened. So you really left us with some intrigue. But there's more to it than just that, isn't there?
There is. Do you want me to elaborate on it?
Please,
So the BFI, the British Film Institute, had a competition called the Super 8. And the Super 8, basically, for those people, if you're not versed on the cameras, a Super 8 camera is basically a small little camera. You put a cartridge in it, and it's mostly used, I think, around about the 1970s. Now, when you can't record sound on it or anything else, and there's lots of people who do Super 8. It's like, people go, oh, my dad's got an old Super 8 in the attic, and they watch a film. So you entered, you paid for your cartridge, and then basically you load it into your camera, and there's no takes, no edit. If you press go, record, and you mess up the take, you're out. That's it. Wow. There's no second goes.
That is hard.
There's no edit. There's no sound. You have to ADR your sound. So you record sound away from your camera separately. You tell them at what point is you want the sound on. And if you're successful, the first time you see your film is on the screen in the BFI. So I chose to shoot something which is a small little drama. So we had to shoot in chronological order because you cannot edit. You just can't. So, and amazing enough, the two characters in it had never acted before, ever.
Wow.
The guy, Ken, who played, the chap who loses his wife, I got speaking to him in a gym, and he told me that his mother-in-law had passed away, and he had so much heartfelt. And I've written this script, and I thought, there's someone that I can draw something out of. And just because it's no sound, I had a lot of interaction with him where I was chatting to him and saying at this point here, when he's looking over the railings and stuff, and say, think about this, Ken, think about that. And when he's looking at the picture, think about this. And when we got in the sound studio, we kind of did that. So it was really, it's probably one of the toughest films I had to make, because you just don't get any more goes. There's just you don't get any more takes. And the first AD, Jackie, she was wonderful, but she kept going, should we just do one more rehearsal? And I was like, well, look, let's just do it and see what happens. So, it was quite tough. And then we sent it off, and then they said, come to the BFI and watch your film. And everyone sat there and thought, what's it going to be like? And it's a great little film, a wonderful little film.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is a good little film. So the narration then, that was that, because obviously it's narrated rather than, as you say, acted and that. Was that his voice, or
that's his voice?
That is, so he did do he did a very good job then, considering he never acted.
Yeah, because what we did is we got, when I'd written the script for him to narrate, I was working with a producer, and the producer was a bit nervous because he said, "Look, are you going to be able to draw this out of him?" And I said, "Well, just leave me with him." And I spoke to him, and we talked about his the mother-in-law and stuff like that. And I said, "Well, how do you think she'd feel about this?" So I really tapped into him, and then I said, "Let's have a go at the script." And then suddenly, bang, that was it. He was just there. So we done a couple of takes, and he absolutely loved it. And he's said to me many times now when I see him, he always says, like, he feels he left the sorrow in that piece, so it's allowed him to move on, which is brilliant, really. So it's one that I favour. I love it. I really do. Yeah,
it is very good, and as I say, it did actually do what it's meant to do, which was to spark intrigue amongst us. I'm just getting the film up ready now, but I'm going to shoot it slightly out to anybody who's watching and see what I can see if I can get them, even if they watch the recorded version, what do you think happened at the end? I mean, I'm quite sure you're not going to tell us, but I am going to ask you at the end of the film.
That's fine. I'll tell you anyway. Yeah, I'll tell you my version, but it's great to hear that everyone's got a different opinion, because that's what filmmaking is, isn't it? To leave the imagination going.
Well, I'll tell you what we got from everybody when we were watching and stuff at the end, but I'm not going to try and give any spoilers.
For sure.
So here we go. I'll put it on now and share the sound, and then we'll watch this. So sit back and enjoy.
I'm not looking for a wife, just someone to talk to. The days can be so long and so empty.
Hurry up, Mum, your appointment's in 20 minutes.
Hello, love. How are you today? You always liked this tie, didn't you? Said I looked smart. I was a scruffy git, but I did always try and make an effort. Make you proud to be seen with me. My favourite roses, but you know that. Remember that day at Camber when Jed climbed up to pick you one and pretended to fall off the walkway? Nearly gave Sheila a heart attack. Silly old sod. Miss those days, Gil. We had some laughs, didn't we? To be honest, I'm only doing this for something to do. I get up most mornings and my day is filled with nothing. Have breakfast, watch the telly. Things have changed, love. I went on that internet thing. Something came up about meeting someone. I just wanted some company, really. Someone to talk to. About you. I'm sorry, Gil. I let you down. I know you'd be disappointed. Wait for me. I won't be long.
Brilliant. Brilliant. It's really good little film. So I'll tell you what happened then. So these were the verdicts. I muted you, Francis, by the way, so that when it came on. There was several different things. My personal thing was that he went back. He turned around and he went back. Okay. At first, yeah. When he turned, you are muted, mate. So you have to unmute yourself. When he, do you want me to send you the message?
Yeah, done it. Yeah.
So at first, when he's walking away, he turns.
Yeah.
And I thought at first he'd missed his mark, or he was checking where she was for his mark to turn. Yeah. But then I thought, no, because he turns, he stops and he turns. Right. And for me, it was a case of he was going back. Marcus's version, and he's going to deny this because he changed his version on the night after watching it again. On the night of the awards, was that he jumped because of what he said beforehand, which was,
wait for me, I won't be long.
Wait for me, I won't be long. So Marcus's version was that he jumped. I think Marion said that basically he was going back for the flower because he'd said roses are my favorite. And anyway, we had these discussions, and then when we went to the bar after the awards, everybody had their own version. It was good, wasn't it, LJ?
Definitely.
It was really like everybody was just going, no, but he said this, and he, you know, and no, but he turned around.
So what my perception of it was, and it's funny because when I spoke to the actor, like Ken, well, you know, not the actor, but he's not acting. My perception was that as he walked off, I said, look, if you can just stop and have a little look, because you are curious, you would be curious, you know,
you would. Yeah.
You'll have a little curious look and then you carry on. So my sort of perception was that he'd gone back to his house and carried on life as normal. But Ken said he thought that what had happened is that he'd gone home and, you know, committed suicide and thought, that's it, I'm going to go and see her. And the woman who played the lady who was going for the date, she was kind of on the fence about it all. So it's interesting to see where it could have gone. Really, a real sort of, I'm happy with it because it's one of those endings that really everybody wants to talk about. Well, what happened here? Because he does say, wait for me, I won't be long.
Yes, I know. To his deceased wife.
Yeah.
You know, he's talking to her through entire narration.
Yeah.
And yeah, you basically think to yourself, you know, I can see where Marcus was coming from with regards to the suicide. And so what you're saying is that your protagonist, the guy who played the part, in his head, he went home and committed suicide. Yeah. And because obviously, because there's it, you know, it's not a nice thing when you lose somebody.
No, of course not.
No. It's fairly young. But yeah, it's fascinating. It's fascinating. So what was the woman who played, what was the lady who played the woman's part? What was her take on it?
She didn't really have much of a take on it. Julia had never acted before again. I'd done something small with Julia before, but she was like kind of, she was like, well, I'm not really too sure what would happen about that. So she didn't really have much of an opinion on it. But some of the crew were saying to me, well, what happened afterwards? You know, what's he gone? Is he gone to kill himself, or is he terminally ill and he knows something, or what's the? And I think that's the beauty, isn't it? Because if you make a film and it leaves everyone questioning it and talking about it, you've impacted people's perception and how they feel about stuff. Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of filmmaking.
It is. And when you can leave it on an edge and leave people discussing something like that, you know, then basically you're gonna, that's kind of your objective anyway, isn't it?
Yeah,
really
always. Yeah.
I mean, you could do a sequel.
Yeah, I'll do the sequel. What happened next?
Super 8 2.
Super 8 2. We'll pick it up from the stop and the look.
You know, just have the whole film with him just walking back to her and going,
yeah, with just the thought process of what he should do. Yeah,
dear me.
Yeah,
no, it was really good, really good.
But good fun, good crew, good people to work with.
Challenge.
A real challenge, yeah, a real challenge. That a lot of people, who are conventional filmmakers who I was working with, crew, were uneasy and edgy about. But
how many crew did you have on?
Probably about 10. That's
really?
gaffers, everybody involved. Yeah.
Wow.
About 10. Yeah.
That's quite big.
Yeah, it's quite a big crew. So yeah, and I think it was the first time a lot of them had worked with Super 8. So, but
some of them are probably born, well, not even born when Super 8
I think the first they didn't even know what Super 8 was. They were like, "What is that you've just pulled out?"
Making a Marvel movie. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a wonderful DOP, Gabby Nolan, and she was great. She just, she saw it. I worked with her. We discussed the shots and stuff, and all of those little captions of light that you see, the little diamond lights, even though that looks as if it wasn't. Gabby had spoke to me and said, if we shoot this way, you're going to get a clear shot, but if we shoot this way, we'll just capture the light ever so much, so we get those in there. So she was fabulous. She was absolutely brilliant to work with.
She had the hardest job, though.
Oh God, yeah.
Her and the actors.
Because if it all went wrong, it's her fault.
Yeah, her and the actors, they had to be.
Yeah.
Boom.
Absolutely, because as soon as she was there and she was ready to press that trigger, you ain't getting no second chances. If someone's mobile phone had gone off, which sometimes it happens, and that's what I like about the Super 8. Sometimes nowadays everything's professional when you shoot, but we can go action and go, oh man, ready, cut, let's go again. Depends on the production value. If it's big value, you can't waste time. But if you're shooting low budget and stuff, or someone burps, or you have a laugh or whatever. But with that, you ain't got there's no chance. Then once you shoot it, obviously, you can't look back at it. So you kind of second guessing what you've picked up. And then the first time you see it is when you see it on the screen. So I kind of like that. I like that sort of filmmaking, that edgy, filmmaking.
And obviously it did get shown at the BFI. You guys all went down and saw it on the screen. So okay, I got to ask, when you all sat there and it came on, thoughts, immediate thoughts once you got to the end of it.
Immediate thoughts were, just like after it come on, I'd watched all the films, and all the films were great. Everyone's great filmmakers. As soon as it had finished, I just thought, it was a big sigh of relief, a big breath. Even though I had all the faith in everyone I was working with, we just went, whew. The producer I'd worked with, he loved it, but he just went, there was a small shot that was out of focus, which
come on.
Which you can forgive, but so I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. But it was nice. It was fabulous. And then we got called up onto the stage to talk about stuff. So I took everybody who was there, said, come on, it's not my film, it's everyone's film. So really, really lovely, and a lovely experience for the people who portrayed the actors in it, to sit down and see themselves on a big screen, because it's kind of once in a lifetime, isn't it? But it was some fabulous films.